G'day and welcome back to the channel. So yesterday I just got back from a 4-wheel driving trip and it seems that my entire power steering has completely blown out. It's leaking, it's making noises. I don't know what's wrong with it. It doesn't work. You turn the wheel, it rips your fingers off. So yeah, today we're gonna have to rip it out and find out what exactly is wrong with it. Alright, so the first thing I'm doing, I've just got myself a little oil tub that I'll put under there. We want to drain the oil first. So let me try and get in a good position here for you guys. Alright, so that big main bolt here with this hose at the top, I'll crack that one first. I'll just crack it for now, I won't do anything more, but I might, after cracking this, I'll take the lower one completely off and let that one drain, and then we'll figure this one out a bit later. Okay, I've fed the rattle gun in here. It's jammed right on there, on that big one there. It's a metric 24, so I'll just crack that. Beautiful. There she goes. It's leaking a little bit now. That's okay. Alright, I'll get this out of here. Okay, so that big one's been cracked. It's draining a little bit. It's not much though, into the tub at the bottom. So now I'm going to try and slip this one off on the side here to drain everything else out. Right here you can barely see it, but it's actually a little hose clamp, so I'll take him off and should be good. Okay, so a size 8 on an extension seems to fit it. Get this little hose clamp off in here. Let's rip this thing off, eh? Try and manipulate this off. There she goes. Okay, side hose is off. That's just draining out now. Most of it's pretty much gone. And I'll just take this big one off here. There is a washer just behind this. There you go, that's out. So there is 2 washers, one on each side of this thing here. Just be careful you don't lose them. Okay, so now that you've taken both of your hoses off, gonna come over here, you want to crack this one and loosen this all the way until you can pull this belt over here off. We'll just let that hang because I don't want to take all of this other stuff over here off. That's too hard, we don't want to do that today. The belt is good, so we'll just let it hang down there and let's get to it. So the lock nut for the adjuster is a 12mm. Spanner fits on here reasonably, so we'll just crack this. Okay, so you've just undone your lock nut. This should be pretty loose, and you should just be able to unscrew this almost by hand. If you can't, obviously just unscrew this, and yeah, all the way till that belt falls off. The belt's coming off now. Okay, once the belt's off and this is fully wound back, adjusted, I'm going to take my 12mm, undo this, and I can just unscrew this one just to get this plate out of the way, so then we can work on the rest of it. You got that one, adjuster, adjust the bolt. Okay, so now that all them bits are off, the pump itself is pretty much flapping around in the wind. You've just got this big one down the bottom that goes straight through. It's the main mount, the pivot mount. So I'll just be taking that off now, and then we should have it out. Okay, so here's a little update for you. I actually had to wedge a spanner on the other side of this just because it was spinning, and this is actually a 5/8, not a 17. I don't know why, it's a weird size. I had to replace it a while ago because you can see here I've actually put a couple spacer nuts in there. They're supposed to be a real life spacer, but you know, whatever works. Anyway, I'll take this off, I'll pull it out and I'll show you. Okay, so yeah, this is what I've made up once upon a time, a long time ago. That's supposed to be a spacer. That's my 3 nuts, and then yeah, this is just a random bolt that I had in the shed at the time. I think it's bent a little bit. Oh. So here we go, here is the culprit. So somewhere inside of this, I'll pull it apart and have a quick look. Obviously it was leaking around this seal here, but it's making hideous noises and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, either I'll magically fix this one or we'll have to get a new one. Alright, so I think I've found what the issue is. So the bearing inside, just underneath this main pulley, has actually completely exploded in there, which would have been causing the noise. And yeah, you can see that colouring that's been chewing up in there for a while now. I won't go into too much detail on pulling all of this apart. Hopefully you guys don't have to do all this. I'm going to go see if there's any parts available to fix this. If not, I might have to just order a new one. I'm not too sure yet. Okay, alright, I'm back from the shop. Check this out. I have got myself some parts. So you can get rebuild kits for them apparently. And I was just lucky to get this. This is the last one they had. What else have I got? A bearing. They sell the bearing separately. So for anybody looking for the same parts as me, I'll put the part number in the description, and I just went to Repco to get all of these parts. Anybody who has to rebuild as well, I'll do a sort of a step-by-step guide on how I do it. If you don't need to do it, just skip ahead to me putting the pump back in. Okay, so first up, I've just popped this little guy out. So all you have to do is put it in a vise, screwdriver like so, and you just work it. Boom, there you go. So inside of the kit you get another one. Obviously we'll clean this one out and we'll put the new one in. Onto the other side, you've got this little O-ring in here. I know there's a tool for this, but I don't have one, so I'll just have to use my little screwdriver here. Pop that out. And just on the other side here, you have another one in there, so I'll just grab that one out as well. Alright, we'll go ahead and tap this little fella in nice and delicately, and you'll be putting it in the same way you took it out, obviously. So this side down like that, put him in there. Yep. And I'll just grab a socket and put in here. Alright, here we go. So I've just tapped it in until it bottomed out in there. Just do it gentle though, because these are easy to break. Next up, I'm just putting in the fresh O-rings. The ones in the kit are a bit awkward, but they are exactly the same as the old ones. Just to fit them in is a little bit awkward though. They don't like to stay. I'll just put a bit of oil around the seal here, and I'll go ahead and put this back together again. Same in here, I'll put this O-ring on. So that is this half done for now. Put that aside. This plate here, we'll just rip this one off and put the new one on. I've got the new one just there. That's pretty straightforward, so I'll go ahead and do that one. We'll get onto this. So obviously this is the old one here. I'll just go over to the vise and try and tap him off. I know you can get presses and pullers and all the rest of it, but you know, I don't have none of that. Yep, the things you gotta do in the ghetto with no tools. Just trying to heat up that bearing a bit so I can smash it off. Quick, 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 quick. Got it. Okay, I just put this one in the freezer, so hopefully it shrinks a little bit. Okay, new bearing going on now. I'll just have to tap this guy on. There you go, so it's all tapped on now. Just a long socket. I used a 17, that seemed to do the job. Alright, now you just want to put a touch of oil just on this seal here. just to help it out a little bit so it seals. And then you can go ahead and put this in here. So now I'm just going to go back over to the vise. I'll knock this in nice and flush so we can put our snap ring back in there. Alright, I'm just putting the snap ring back in now. Just like that. There you go. Okay, so next up we're going to be putting this main pump drive back into the thing. There's a rubber seal just underneath it that you can replace with the new one over there. I'm not going to turn it upside down because all of these little teeth in here, they will fall out. So word of warning, I'm going to go ahead and do that and slap it straight onto this cog in here. Be north up here where this hose is. So we'll slide him straight on, just obviously line these up here where the pegs fall in. Once putting the pump drive back in, you can go ahead and throw this back on, obviously with your gasket on the correct way around, pegs going in the holes. Once that's on, we can grab our little plate here and long bolt obviously in the long hole here, straight through there. Then we can put our pulley back on, so straight on the cog. Once all together again, you can go ahead and put it back the same way it came out. I'll skip ahead to the messy part and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm just going to grab my 8mm, sneak down here, and this return hose just here, I'll undo that, pop him off, and feed the hose down the bottom there into a little bucket. Okay, so I've just flushed about 1.5 litres of oil through the system. All the old stuff is all over the floor. It's a bit messy, as you can see. But now I've just put that hose back on now. So I'll fill it up and I'll keep steering it to try and get all the air bubbles out. Well, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Let me know if I did something terribly wrong in the comments. But yeah, I do hope this helps. Have a good one.